This morning I had breakfast with a really good friend of mine, and I was so impressed. He started off the breakfast right off the bat with saying, "Walter, I want to ask you to give me some feedback, and I need you to be absolutely honest with me." And he said that he didn't really think that other people would be that candid with him, but he had an issue that he was trying to wrestle through with his business, but he just felt like, gosh, I just need someone to tell me the truth. And he wanted some feedback about himself. And it reminded me of this great book I read called Radical Candor by Kim Scott. Kim Scott, I believe, was an executive for Google, or still is, and she wrote this really great book. And what she does is she talks about these kind of 4 approaches that people can take. And it's based off of these 2 axes. One is you care about people versus you don't really care, and you're direct and you challenge people versus you're not very direct, and therefore you don't really challenge people. And when you put these 2 axes together, they form an approach with people. So for instance, people who care for people, but they're not very direct, they don't challenge people to improve things, they're not honest with them about what's going on, it's what she calls ruinous empathy. You're practicing empathy, you're listening, you're showing some real care and concern, but it's ruinous because you're not really helping them. You're just letting them know that you care and you've got some compassion for what they're talking about, but you're not saying the hard things. Another way is that you don't really care about people, and you're also not very direct with them about what's on your mind. That's called manipulative insincerity. In other words, you've got something you want to share with them, but you don't care enough to share it, and therefore you don't say anything. You act like everything is okay. You act like there's no issues between the 2 of you, and it's simply manipulative insincerity. You're not sincere, it's not real, but you kind of manipulate the dynamic in such a way that they can't really tell that you're not a big fan or that you've got a real issue with them. You also have people who are direct. They don't have any problem challenging people to do things differently, or to rethink how they're doing something. The problem is they don't really have a high level of care for people. And so it can come off as what she calls obnoxious aggression, that you're just way too abrasive, way too harsh, way too direct. You kind of pride yourself on just telling the truth, calling it like you see it. But the problem is you're hurting that person on a personal way, the way that you're saying it. The way we want to strive for is we want to care about people, and we want to be direct and honest and challenge people. And that's what she calls radical candor. This word radical is the idea of to the root. You want to get to the root cause of something, and you want to just be honest. Like my friend this morning. He basically was saying, "Walter, would you practice radical candor with me? Tell me the truth. Shoot straight with me about this particular issue." And to his credit, I felt the freedom. I was very candid with him. And he sat there and he just listened and he nodded and he considered what I was saying and he processed it to his benefit. Now, had he been defensive, had he been argumentative, I probably would not have practiced radical candor in the future, and therefore he would lose in the long run because people would not feel comfortable giving him that kind of feedback. So to his credit, he practiced courage and humility. He practiced openness to hear feedback, and then I practiced radical candor so that I could challenge him on some things that I was aware of, and I could be direct with him, but I care about him too. And because I cared about him, I said it in a way that he could hear it. This is what we need to practice. We need to seek this out from people. Sometimes you need to go to somebody and say, "Hey, listen, be radically candid with me. Shoot straight with me. I know you care about me, but challenge me. Be direct with me." It's a great way for all of us to grow and develop as leaders, but we also have to be able to give that kind of feedback also, so people know you'll always tell them the truth, but you'll tell them the truth in love.